Eventually I found I got to a point in life where I started questioning, why am I doing what I'm doing? And also, what should I be doing? And the answer to that, to some extent, it's not quite a full answer, but it is, firstly, what can you do? What do you actually have the resources, the skills, the abilities to do? And secondly, what do you want to do? Now, you can kind of answer, you ask yourself this question, or this question will come up when you aren't in a stressful mindset. For example, if you need to pay your bills, or you're running home and it's raining or something like that, you're not going to think about these questions. But in moments of either deep meditation or deep silence, these come up. And it is a big question, what do you want to do with your life? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be? All that kind of stuff. And a lot of the time, just say when I'm on the internet or when I'm doing something, it's very objective based. If I'm going to a shop, it's to buy something. It's probably to buy food or whatever it is. I'm not really there to be messing around. The only time I am messing around is when I have a subconscious mission. I have something else that I want to do subconsciously, and I'm not comfortable enough with it to bring it up to my conscious mind. It's still there in my mind. I can still see it. I can still access it, but I haven't quite thought, well, this is important. This isn't important enough, or this isn't, let's forget that. So it becomes subconscious. But anyway, so I'm always looking for that next step, and I use reality like a Ouija board or like a divination spinner or something, where hopefully I will get the next message. And I get the next message when I'm ready. And it is usually related, the messages are related to whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm intending, whatever I'm thinking about. What things do you want in life? You've got to ask yourself. The basic things in life is, firstly, there's money, resources, job. That's all one kind of category. There's secondly, there's family, love, relationships, sex. Thirdly, there's creativity, self-expression, art. Fourthly, there's body strengthening, martial arts, etc. So all these categories in life that you're going to work on, and these are all overarching in a single category. So there's like the God category, the zero, the all and everything category, and then you have the subcategories. And the more you work on these things, the more you work on, programming a computer, you're going to learn how to do it more and more. The way life works is it's just by doing things, by researching, by thinking, by getting little feelings, but a lot of it is the practical work. That's the bulk of it, is the doing. Everything, I believe, can be broken down to some kind of gamified theory or gamified idea of, you just have to do whatever it is you want to do. You want to make more money. You want to get a better job. You have to look for jobs. You have to network. You have to learn skills for those jobs. You have to maybe make your own business, or learn how business works. Learn how to market. You have to learn these things, and you have to do them. You won't know what these things are until you really put the work in. That's why you can teach someone 10 years of your failures and findings in like a month, or a couple months, or a year, because you know all the little things that need to be done. You have all the ideas, right? And there are different ways to success and different ways to do things, and everyone's going to have their own way. Of course, there are generic ways to do things. Like the generic way in life is you get a job, right? You go to schooling. That's the generic way. Things are changing now that we have the internet, and now that society is being shooken up a little. We have maybe two ways. We have the generic way and we have the non-traditional way. Non-traditional would be you'd be homeschooling. Then you make your own business, or you do social media advertising or something like that. You find some other way. That's a non-traditional way, right? So you need to know the way, or a way, and usually you use multiple different ways to get to where you want to be, or get to what you want to do, or whatever. You've got to know the paths, right? Because if you don't know where to travel, then you're not going to be able to travel. If you don't know what to do, then you can't do something. And you're just going to have to research. You're going to have to look up on the internet videos and web pages. And you're going to have to talk to people, because these are the two different ways. There's online and there is in physical reality. If you live a life where you work a job, or you travel around a lot in the world, you buy things in physical shops, and you talk to people, and you go to people's houses and social events and all that stuff. You live a physical world, right? So if you're going to find a partner, your man, you want a wife, or your woman, you want a husband, you're probably going to find them in physical space. If you need a business partner, or you need workers or something, you're probably going to find them at one of these areas, maybe when you're at work, or maybe when you're out at the library, or by a food restaurant, or you're taking a walk, etc. Similarly, if you're an internet-based person, most of the stuff in life is going to be over the internet, on your computer, on your phone. You're going to be researching things, you're going to be finding different websites, you're going to be finding different social media areas or hubs. You have to learn to utilize your resources and your spaces. You have to learn to fucking conquer, ideally, both realities. But whatever reality you're working with, you need to learn how to conquer it. You need to learn how to conquer social media, how to use it to advertise, how to use it to find people, talk to people, to do things that you need to do with people. If it's business websites, payment processing, banks, you need to master asking a bank for loans, or working with them, negotiating with them. You got to learn to game reality, game the system, which pretty much means there is a way to get what you want to get. How is it? You got to learn, you got to experience and practice. You'll kind of get and understand how to do things. A carpenter who's built things for 10 or 20 or 30 years just knows how to build new things. Usually they just know what to do, what's good, what's right, because they've done it so much. You've got to become like that. So really the main point I'm trying to hammer home is that if there's something you want to do, we are in an era where it's so physical, so material, so dense. We're not in the golden age, we're in the iron and clay age, right? Or I guess we're in the iron age, if you want to say. This era is not one particularly of magic, it's not one of granting wishes, it's not a land of milk and honey. The boomer generation had a small generation era of great expansion. Around the 40s to the 60s was a great era of expansion, and we don't live through that anymore. We're in literally the low point of the low 20 years, the low point of the peak. And if you want to get things done in these days, you have to be very meticulous. You have to be very rigid and restrained and disciplined and experienced. This is the era where experience conquers. It's the era where the big trees suck up all the light and the little trees die off and don't get anything. The old rule in this era. So you kind of have to learn the way that things are played. You have to the older I get, the less naive and idealistic I become, the more hyper realistic, hyper calculated. And this is also a dangerous way to live. It's as bad as being incredibly idealistic, optimistic and naive and wishy-washy and all over the place. It's as bad. But the difference is that those people, those kind of naive, idealistic people, work properly in an era where there's lots of resources and lots of food, lots of energy, lots of light. You know, things are easy and nice and happy. While in a difficult era like now, a cold winter era, you have to be incredibly, you have to do something and know you're going to fail and know you're going to have to keep going 10, 20, 30, 100 times until you learn everything, you've experienced everything, till you've just conquered something. That's how rigid this timeline is. You can't fuck around too much. You need to you need to really put your weight down and work on it. Of course, there is also time for expansion and all this stuff. There are phases of everything. The main thing I'm trying to get is that if you want something, you have to go for it. You have to work for it and go for it and figure it out. And figure where to get the thing you want. Figure how you will get the thing. Put the work in and try it. And know that if you're not terribly experienced, you're probably under the age of about 35, you're going to suck at reality, especially in this time frame. This era is for the old. There will come an era for the young. If you have children, your children may live, or they will or their children will live in an era which is good for the youth and good for, lazing around a little bit, but not this era. So we have to do what we have to do. Anyway, I hope you got something from that. Of course, feel free to comment or donate, or to check my email if you need to email me. It's down below. And if you want to buy anything, check the links down below. Check my Fiverr for divination and check my Gumroad for products. And of course, have a nice day.